Hi, I wanted to share a fun recipe with you guys today. Since we can't get together at church on Easter, I thought that I would make some resurrection rolls with you today. There won't be a children's message during the worship service, so this one is especially for you guys. I'm going to read from the Spark Bible. We'll start with the day Jesus died, then we'll get right into the resurrection rolls. The day Jesus died. It was a very sad day when Jesus died. The soldiers who had arrested Jesus teased him for pretending to be a king. They took his clothes and put a king's purple cloak on him. They made a crown of vines with sharp thorns and put it on Jesus' head. Ouch. The soldiers made Jesus carry a heavy wooden cross. The cross was too heavy for him. Jesus fell and skinned his knees, and the cross tumbled to the ground. A man in the crowd carried the cross the rest of the way. The soldiers nailed Jesus' hands and feet to the cross. It was up on a hill between two other men. The other men were thieves, and they were being crucified too. One of the men was actually angry with Jesus. "If you are such a powerful king, why can't you save yourself? And why don't you save us too?" The man even spat on Jesus. But the other thief believed in Jesus. He shouted back, "Don't you know who this is? This is God's Son. He hasn't even done anything wrong. We are being punished for our mistakes, but Jesus shouldn't be here." The man turned to Jesus and asked, "Will you take me to heaven with you?" Jesus looked at the man and loved him. Jesus told him, "Yes, today we will be in heaven together." After a while, the world grew very dark, as if a terrible thunderstorm was coming. It was as if all of creation was crying because Jesus was about to die. Jesus was feeling all alone, and he prayed to see if God was still there. Of course, God never left Jesus. God was with him the whole time. And Jesus looked at the crowd. He was so sad that people didn't believe that he was God's son. He asked God to forgive them for killing him. The soldiers offered him some sour wine, but he didn't want to drink it. He was already ready to die. Finally, Jesus had fought for long enough. He said, "God, the work you gave me to do here is finished." He breathed a final, long, slow breath, and then he died. All right. So, the very first thing, you guys know this, that we have to do before we do any kind of cooking or anything is to wash your hands. Well, I did that right before I started this video, so I'm ready to go. So, all we need is just a few simple ingredients to make these really cool resurrection rolls. And if you've made them before, do not ruin the surprise for anybody. If you haven't made them before, this is a fun and yummy surprise. So, the first thing we're gonna do is, I've already taken the wrapper off. These are crescent rolls out of a can. And you're going to unroll each one of the crescent rolls. And the rolls represent the clothes that they wrapped, or the cloths that they wrapped Jesus in to prepare him for the tomb after he died. So when you take one of the crescent rolls out, they look like this. And I'm gonna put them on a cookie sheet over here. And then we take a marshmallow, a white, pure marshmallow. And guess who that represents? Yep, Jesus. And it's white and it's pure because Jesus is free of sin. And we're gonna take this Jesus and we're gonna anoint him like they anointed Jesus' body with oils in some melted butter. You see that? We're just gonna roll it in the melted butter. And then we're going to take Jesus and put him in some cinnamon and sugar in a bowl. I don't know if you can see that, I'm sorry. And the cinnamon and sugar represents the spices that they used to prepare Jesus's body for the tomb. So when we have all of the spices, AKA cinnamon and sugar, Jesus will look like this. And then we're going to take Jesus over to that dough. I'll try to do it over here so you can see. We're going to place Jesus right in the middle of the cloth or the dough, and we're just going to roll it right up like this. Then we're going to take the ends and pull them over and seal them tight, just like they sealed the tomb that they placed Jesus's body. So it doesn't look very pretty. Looks like a ball of wrapped dough, but it's Jesus anointed with oils with spices wrapped in cloth. So I have just a few more that I need to do. And while we've been talking, I had the oven preheating to 375. So again, Jesus, anoint him in the butter, dip him in the cinnamon sugar, and then place him in the dough. Roll it up. Seal up the edges. Sorry, I don't have a camera person or anyone here with me today. Oh, this one really is not pretty. See that? But I'm here to tell you, these taste delicious. 2 more to go. Jesus, anoint in the oil or butter and dip him in the spices, aka cinnamon and sugar. Roll them up in the dough, aka the cloth. Seal up the tomb. Place it on the cookie sheet. 1 more. Jesus. Anointing. Spices. And then wrap them up in the cloth. And seal up the tomb. Place it on the cookie sheet. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm gonna wash my hands quick and I'm gonna put it in the oven, then I have a little bit more to read to you. Hold on. If I could sing, I would sing to you all, but I can't. We know this. And I'm gonna put Jesus in the oven. Let's see. I would say I'm gonna do about 8 minutes, okay? Okay. Now, while that is baking, I have another part of the story to read to you. So, this part is called The Empty Tomb. It was early in the morning on the 3rd day after Jesus died. The sky was pink and red with the first light of the sun. The women didn't notice the sky. They hurried to the cave that contained Jesus' body. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, led the way. 2 others, Salome and Joanna, carried the spices to rub on the body of Jesus. They had a job to do. When the tomb of Jesus came into sight, they froze. Uh-oh, they had forgotten about the huge stone that sealed the opening to the cave. How are they going to move it? The women kept going to the cave anyway. And as they came closer, the women could see that the stone had already been rolled away. That was odd. They peeked inside, and it was dark in there. Brr, her, and it was cold in there. Drip, drop, and it was damp in there. Wait a minute, what? It was empty in there. Jesus was gone. And then an angel appeared in sparkling white clothes. The glow from the angel brightened even the darkest corners of that cave. The women shielded their eyes from the blinding light. Don't be afraid, the angel said. Jesus isn't here. This is a place for the dead, and Jesus is alive. Hurry, the angel said. Go tell all the disciples. The women did not delay. They ran to tell Jesus' friends what they had seen and what they had heard. While they were on the way, Mary bumped into a man. She tripped and fell at his feet. Wait a minute. She knew those feet. A familiar hand reached out to help her. Wait, she knew that hand. She looked up, and yes, she knew that smile. It was Jesus. Hello, friends, Jesus said. Jesus was really alive. The women hugged his feet and shouted with joy. Go and tell the others the good news. Tell them that I'm alive. I will meet them in Galilee, and I cannot wait to see them again. Now, the women had a new job to do. They had to tell everyone that Jesus was alive. Isn't this a crazy story? It is, but I love it. All right, so I know that our timer says that we still have 4 minutes and 38 seconds, but through the magic of the internet, I have some already ready for you. So hold on, stay right there. Okay, so I better get a plate. This is what the resurrection rolls look like when you pull them out of the oven and they're cooled. You remember I put a marshmallow in there, right? It was supposed to be Jesus. After we anointed him in the oils and put the spices on him, we wrapped him up in the cloth, right? So I'm going to cut open this resurrection roll. And can you see what happened? It's empty, just like the tomb. That's why we call these resurrection rolls. Jesus was resurrected and the tomb was empty. Resurrection rolls. The roll is empty. So, if your mom and dad have any of these really cool ingredients, you guys are gonna wanna try them because they are so good. Happy Easter, and I can't wait to see you guys again soon.